Welcome back to Inside Star Citizen, the only weekly behind-the-scenes docuseries showcasing the faces, features, and forward progress being forged in the first-person universe of Star Citizen. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. Now, with Alpha 323 recently out, testing ongoing for the 323-2 cargo and hangar patch, and development turning its full attention to the upcoming major milestone that is Alpha 4.0 later this year, we're in one of those periods of ISC production where we like to experiment with the means and manner of the stories we tell. Because like the developers making the very game that we're covering, we want to try new things and new ways of doing what we do. So for the next 3 weeks, ISC will be a bit different than you might normally expect. That means we're going to spend a little more time than normal getting to know the folks themselves as opposed to just what they're working on. Things like asking the UK networking team to film a sort of dev diary on those major server meshing tests from earlier this year. Chat with the level design team to discuss their process and how they're taking all those things they learned in Stanton and applying it to Pyro. And this week, getting to know some folks specializing in the implements of first-person destruction. Now, of course, the ISCs that are driven by specific feature and content work will still continue after this short detour. But we hope that you'll indulge us once again in our effort to share some more personalized stories for the next few weeks. And then, of course, we'll be back with the big flashy stuff soon enough. And don't forget, CitizenCon is just 4 months away. 4 months away! Did we just do one? So that's enough of me. Let's meet the first of 3 teams over 3 weeks that don't often get the ISC spotlight in a feature that we like to call Meet the Team, Weapon Content Team. Meet the Weapon Content Team. Good old WCT. Let's just meet them.
Why have you avoided the camera in the last 5 years?
I'm a bit nervous.
How long ago did you start here?
8 months ago. Almost 9, yeah.
How's it been?
It's been great. I like it.
How many of these do you think you've done at this point? I can't keep track.
This is the 5th.
This is the 5th one? Do you like doing these?
Yes, because I'm an attention seeker.
There's definitely more lights than I was expecting, to be fair, but it's pretty bright. A little nervous, yeah.
I used to be a life model before I came here, so...
You used to be a what?
Life model. So once you've had people draw you naked, it's pretty hard to get awkward around anything.
Not nervous at all?
Not really, no. Not too bad.
Cool.
Depends what the questions are.
How prepared are you for this?
I have been in meetings since I walked in, and I have done nothing up until today.
Phil! Phil, be quiet! The microphone's right there! The microphone's right there in front of your mouth.
Aren't we a spaceship game?
We're definitely a spaceship game, but a core aspect of that is definitely the FPS side of it as well. A lot of our players enjoy flying around the spaceships, but they also enjoy the aspect of being able to be boots on the ground and exploring the world from the first-person perspective.
The weapon content team are the team that are responsible for any weapon you see in-game, pretty much.
It's the team that creates the artwork and animation for Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
We make really cool-looking guns. Lots of guns.
Melee weapons, FPS weapons, large capital-size turret weapons, fire extinguishers, multi-tools.
We're just a group of people that just, I guess, find firearms is the most interesting part of the 3D art space.
So it's called Meet the Team. So let's start where content starts and meet Alberto.
Tell me about Alberto.
I like spaceships.
He's not wrong.
I started in a mixed role in a little company in Germany called Egosoft, and there I was doing spaceships, both 3D and both concept. And I moved here because I was always very passionate of the universe of Star Citizen.
His pathway is just insane. I think he designed, luxury yachts or something, so yeah.
So yachts, planes, everything that was not a car, basically.
Alberto is an incredible concept artist. The concept artist kind of facilitates the development of the idea.
We get the brief, the words, and we translate it to something visual. In my opinion, that's the most creative part.
Alberto's great. I mean, he's a pleasure to work with. I've only had really good experiences talking to him. He provides so little friction when working with him. He's genuinely really good at what he does. He does a lot of the problem solving for you.
What's your relationship like with Alberto?
90% pranks.
Understand what?
Pranks.
Pranks?
Yes.
Like what?
Flipping the screen from each other, like changing the sensitivity of the mouse when he just turn around, something like that.
We really have to focus that. Is that a productive use of your time, Samuel?
If I do it fast, yeah.
Samuel's one of our newer concept artists in the company. He is very excited about the project and very passionate about everything that we do as a company.
How do you think other people see Sam Brito?
Oh, that's a great question.
I would say he have this positive vibe to him. You know, he's the doctor.
Sam is fun, getting better and better. He's super young, super talented.
Absolute bundle of joy from a different culture coming from Venezuela. Lots of interesting stories and really approachable, and just overall the same things I say about Alberto. I can go to him, I can talk about what he's working on, and the concepts he provides are of an extremely high quality.
He's really keen to kind of start working and get a little bit more involved with the weapon side of concepting rather than just the vehicles. Every time we mention it, he's like, oh, can I do it? Can I do it? So yeah, he's super excited about it, which is great. I always kind of think that the more passionate people are about the subject they're working on, the better the results you're going to get. We've got Aleksei, who's our weapons lead. He joined us a year and a half ago, I want to say. He's been a great addition to the team.
I decided to work on the video games because I always wanted to help people, not necessarily when they're already ill, because I have a medical degree, but it never worked out for me because down the line, I decided that I wanted to bring happiness and not cure the aftermath of it.
Did you know that he got his degree to be a doctor?
What? No, I didn't know. I guess I'd like him to be my doctor. I'd probably trust him.
I really enjoyed the video games, like almost anyone. But at some point it struck to me that real people do them, and I just started to look around and see what I can do, how I can start to make video games, and that's how I ended up as a 3D artist.
Very laid-back guy, has a really good eye for stuff that you can so easily miss. Like he'll pick out stuff I can't even see.
Since he's joined in, the optimization of our work has just flown through the roof. He's a really valuable member of the team, and I definitely consider him a friend. He's a really nice guy.
He's created quite a driving force for the team across both our projects.
Aleksei is okay at table tennis.
Just okay?
Yeah, he's okay.
We've got Tallin.
I'm one of the key weapon artists here, so I work on creating the 3D models and creating the weapons, the gadgets, hand grenades, and every other kind of thing you can think of that the player might use in the FPS aspect of the game.
Tallin, what I say, is a super passionate weapons artist. He's big into sort of airsoft and milsim and that side of things.
The fountain of all knowledge when it comes to weaponry.
I don't think there's anyone that knows more about guns than Tallin.
Does it operate correctly? Where does it take its influences from? And I think that's really important.
He's just a great person to have on the team, nice and approachable, and always up for a bit of a laugh. And joining him's Ben as well, who's another artist too.
What do you think other people say about you?
I'm very quiet, so I'm not sure.
Definitely the life of the party, which you wouldn't expect noticing, but after a few drinks, he's definitely the circle of attention.
He's been a great addition to the team. He's technically our newest member of the team, but he's still been here a couple of years.
I'd say in some ways his artwork is quite sometimes better than mine. He really knows his way around Blender.
He has such a keen eye for details on the weapon.
You can just kind of throw anything at him and know that you're going to get a really solid result out of it. We've got Joel. Originally, I hired Joel as a prop artist probably close to 8 years ago.
I create the artwork for FPS devices, which includes weapons, gadgets. I also make ship weapons.
Joel's actually the most senior member of the team and was there when I first joined. He was an extremely helpful person to encounter.
Very easygoing, super knowledgeable, always has a pun ready.
He has some really strange t-shirts. Every other day he comes in with a new t-shirt with something weird on it, and I'm a bit jealous because every time I see them I kind of wish I'd had the idea of buying them.
I like t-shirts. This one, it's The Simpsons. Everyone likes The Simpsons, right?
What about your producer?
Oh yeah, don't let me forget Kieran. He's Mr. getting things done and getting things done on time, so he's brilliant.
I quickly realised I didn't want to be an artist or a programmer. I started out in level design, and then I found out that my passion was the team.
Without Kieran, there wouldn't be weapon content because he's the guy who glue it all together, you know.
Eats a lot of eggs. Brings in about 4 eggs a day or something like that, so. That's the only bad thing I can think about Kieran.
So next up is our animator, Jordan. He couldn't make it into the office today, but we love him and he's great. I mean, I've been working with Jordan for years on the weapon. Since I took over, he was always there.
Jordan have a really, really shiny personality. He's the one person that you can reach out with anything related to animation. He is here to support you.
Always has a lot of stories and anecdotes.
He's also a little bit scary because he knows where everyone lives, and it's unclear when he gets or how he gets the information he does. But when you join the team, within the first few weeks, maybe the first few months, he knows exactly where you are on Google Maps. And for that reason, he is terrifying.
Yet he can't be here to film for this.
No. Jordan, you could have been here for this. We really need you. Where are you, Jordan?
And I'm Ben, the art director. And that's enough about me, so let's look at some weapons we've been working on. So we've got quite a few weapons that are being worked on. We can talk about a couple of them today. So first up, we're going to talk about the P8AR.
P8AR is an assault rifle that may fill the role of someone that wanted something bigger from bearing manufacturer.
Up until now, it's been our Squadron exclusive rifle. In fact, I've had backers come up to me saying, please release the P8AR.
And what we want to do is take that P8 base and do a version that we were was slightly more tailored towards the civilian market.
A lot bigger and a little bit longer than the current P4AR, and personally, one of my favourite weapons that we've ever worked on.
It is more in line with civilian needs, so it's had a little bit of lightning done to it. It's had some of the more aggressive visuals tidied up a touch.
We did a redesign of the stock.
And it's had a bunch of new skins and variants done for the consumer market.
Why not just put the one from Squadron in?
The honest answer is we want to hold that back for Squadron, I guess. It is one of the main weapons you use throughout the campaign, and we still want that to feel unique and special. It's one of the things that we do want to hold back as a bit of a hero experience. It is the standard issue, I think is the correct way of saying it, military weapon for the UEE. It's a workhorse, it's reliable, it's functional, and it just gets the job done.
So the Volt rifle is another new weapon that we're releasing in the PU. A brand new manufacturer for the weapon content team. Volt are a electric and beam ammunition type, using electric batteries to power their weapons.
They're very techy. They feel very professionally homemade. It's not thrown together, but also it's not professionally manufactured.
This is the manufacturer who relies on cheap produced goods, but they still wanted it to look cool and shiny, but they are not really reliable in terms of long-term use.
We wanted a manufacturer where people could use these weapons and then they could also repair and upgrade and they look like you would be able to strip them down and field repair them, or work in your workshop in your ship, or in your habs or wherever, and really get into the nitty-gritty of how these weapons work. So there's a lot of visual cues to that with like how the screen attaches, all the little fittings and screws and how it all comes together. That visually is something quite nice and exciting, I think.
there is anything like this in a PU as of now, this will suit more of the guys who wanted to show off rather than to be military-style weapons. You will have some shiny, cool guns that you can show to your friends and say, there, I did it. This is a really cool-looking gun.
I've always been a little bit opposed to very big flashy lasers and electricity on firearms. I think it can drift away from my idea of traditional firearm. But I think working within the confines of what Volt as manufacturer are, being a home-built kit that you could order online supposedly and manufacture yourself, I think really fits into the idea of it being more of a fun ammunition type.
This is still work in progress, but you can see the direction where it's going.
So the Pyro SMG, this is something very different to any of our mainstream manufacturers.
A very small handheld submachine gun, similar to I think a real-world example would be a Tech 9.
And the whole idea with this kind of Pyro weaponed theme is that these things have been made by just people living on the fringes of the universe. They've used whatever they can get their hands on to make something that works for them.
Imagine Mad Max type of gun that was scraped with everything that you can find around.
Sort of break the art conventions that we've been working with for the last however many years.
Internally, we call them non because they doesn't have any manufacturer.
It's made by a guy named Steve.
Yeah, you can say so.
The fact that it's very compact and small allows you to hook very tightly on corners, giving yourself a very low exposure when peeking corners or peeking over cover, and has an extremely high rate of fire, so very good for those really close encounters, but I wouldn't be using it at long ranges due to the lack of a stock.
They're really quite cool weapons to work on and look forward to using maybe more in the future.
Where the hell is my crossbow?
Do you know what? Chris brought a crossbow up recently. He was like, are we going to finish it? And I'm like, well, it's kind of there. There was one thing stopping us with the way the bolts interacted with stuff that we couldn't do at the time.
The fabled crossbow is an asset that we in the weapon concept team have been trying to get pushed out for a long time now.
At the point of creation this crossbow, it was decided that the bolts needs to stuck when you fire them and not disappear like any other bullet. And this prevented the release of the crossbow because we cannot consistently make the bolts stuck.
It's just a super advanced, cool-looking crossbow. It's got these really cool, like, deploying bolts in it because obviously, we don't really want to carry around these massive, great big kind of quiver of arrows. So it's got these really nice kind of compact little bolts that load into it.
Adding more unique firearms and ways to take out enemies silently is something that the game would definitely benefit from, and so seeing the crossbow come out into the PU would be something that made me extremely happy, and I know a lot of the players have been asking me about this too.
Not directly involved with weapon content, but still working on the weapons, our audio guys and VFX guys. We're working with them directly, and they make our gun shines and sings.
I'll have done my part of the artwork, it'll have gone down the production line, and a few months later I'll bring it into the editor just to remind myself of what I worked on, and I'll shoot it and hear some incredible audio and be like, oh wow, someone's gone all out on this one.
They're a downstream team that, much like animation, it really brings to life this otherwise static and fairly boring object.
Their work is incredible. I've tried to tell them at some point I want to see them add the lead pipe 01 sound effect into the game, but I've yet to get an approval on that one.
Game development is a group effort. When it comes out great, it's just a miracle at some point of a lot of people involved into it.
You know, it is still a first-person game, and I think that, you know, the work we do is important. I hope we're a significant part of your interaction with Star Citizen.
I do enjoy it when, you know, I see people having fun and, you know, enjoying the weapons we've created and put into the, you know, the Star Citizen universe. There's a big community of people that take, you know, like in-game captures and screenshots and stuff, and seeing people take pictures of your work is really nice.
I would like people to know that the feedback they give us, especially on our team, means a whole lot.
When we see a comment come up about something with the firearms that people might not like, we do take that on board. If it's not applied to the weapon they're speaking about, we'll try and avoid it on future ones. We're always learning.
And if there has been a weapon that you really enjoy using, or is your favourite weapon, then please do let us know in the comments, because the team will love to hear that sort of feedback. With our recent releases, you've seen a whole bunch of updates to how the weapons feel, how they function, and really bring some of those quality and life improvements to the weapons as a whole. And that's just taken a lot of hard work from the weapons department as a whole department, you know, art, design, animation, audio, VFX, like the whole lot. And they've not had a great deal of limelight in these sort of events, but they're super dependable, and I'm very happy to kind of be able to get to talk about them today.
So what did we learn this week? Well, hopefully we learned a lot more about the people that make up the current iteration of the weapon content team. That there's a whole host of new weapons making their way into the persistent universe. And that spaceships, of course, may dominate the conversation a lot of the time. But there's plenty of other ways to bring damage, death, and destruction to the universe of the first person being built. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you. And we'll see you all here next week.